Every voting system is built on a hidden architecture of choices. Some of those choices create flow, smooth pathways that make it easy for eligible citizens to cast a ballot. Others create friction, administrative barriers that slow the process down. Understanding the difference between flow and friction is the first step to understanding how modern elections really work. Flow mechanisms are designed to reduce obstacles: same-day registration, mail-in ballots, automatic voter rolls. Friction mechanisms add extra steps: documentation requirements, narrow deadlines, in-person verification. Neither is inherently good or bad, but each carries trade-offs in access and security that shape who actually gets to vote. Have you ever wondered why Election Day falls on a Tuesday? The answer is rooted in 19th century travel times, not modern convenience. Sunday was reserved for church, Monday required travel time from rural farms, and Wednesday was market day. Tuesday was what was left. That single scheduling decision, made over a century ago, still shapes voter turnout today. The SAVE Act's proof of citizenship requirement reveals a stark paradox. Millions of citizens lack ready access to documents like a birth certificate or passport, yet documented cases of non-citizen voting are vanishingly rare. This is the access security paradox. A policy designed to stop a handful of violations risks disenfranchising a much larger population of legitimate voters. Under documented proof of citizenship rules, registering to vote becomes a bureaucratic obstacle course. A single mismatch, a maiden name, a typo, a hyphenated last name, can stall an application indefinitely. What looks like a simple form on paper becomes a maze of verification steps in practice. Why do automated citizenship purges fail so often? Because DMV databases, the federal SAVE system, and the reality of who is actually a citizen don't perfectly overlap. Case after case shows eligible, natural-born citizens flagged and removed by algorithms that were never built to handle the full complexity of American identity documentation. The SAVE Act's 10-day mandate for verifying citizenship creates a cascade of administrative burden. Local election offices must overhaul their systems, sort through voter rolls under intense time pressure, and do it all while facing potential criminal liability for mistakes made in the process. When citizens can't produce documentation in time, some proposals split them into two tracks: allowed to vote in state elections but legally blocked from federal ballots. This bifurcated system sounds like a compromise, but in practice, it multiplies the logistics, the costs, and the confusion at every polling place. Zoom out, and a clear pattern emerges. The federal policy matrix shows two competing visions: the SAVE and MEGA Act built around friction, and the Freedom to Vote Act built around flow. Across 5 key attributes: access, security, cost, complexity, and consequence, these two approaches pull in opposite directions. Across the country, states can be grouped into tiers based on how aggressively they've implemented Show Your Papers laws. Some states impose minimal barriers, others sit in a middle tier with moderate requirements, and a third tier enforces the strictest documentation demands, reshaping the voting experience depending entirely on which state a citizen calls home. When you weigh the numbers side by side, the imbalance is striking. The documented threat of non-citizen voting is minuscule. The documented cost of heavy federal friction in disenfranchised citizens, administrative failures, and lost trust is substantial. Good policy design starts with getting that balance right. Designing the ideal civic architecture means holding two goals in tension: real election security and the operational reality of everyday voters. The systems we build today will determine not just who can vote, but how confidently they can trust the process. That balance is the true foundation of democracy.